59 years is a long time, so that you don't have to figure I was 18, Pansy was 16. Okay? But, okay. But let me tell you, it's really an honor to be here to speak to you this morning. You know, I've been asked to provide my perspective journey as family caregiver. And today, I basically will be speaking from my own personal experience. As Brian said, Pansy and I met and we got married at an early age. We lived in South LA for 40 years before moving 9 years ago to Valencia, where we currently preside. And as Brian said, we both worked for aerospace and both retired in 1997. I had 41 years. I went in at 18 as a utility person, doing flunky work, and came out as an engineer. Pansy went in as a wire and solderer and came out as a inspector on the Discoverer and some of the other space programs from Rockwell Boeing. 5 years ago, my life changed. You know, as Brian said, Pansy was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, leaving me as taking on the role as husband and caregiver. I went through stages of denial, big denial, and sometimes I still do, depending on the situation. And I only think of a distant relative of ours that when Pansy and I first got married, we used to do things together, go on vacations together and what have you. And for years, he kind of separated himself from the family. Did not realize that he was a caregiver for his wife, Bernadine, which is Pansy's cousin. So happens, he's gone, and she's still with us. He went through stages of some of the things I try not to go through, but at the same time, it's just really sad that it happened that way. I basically received no formal care, training, so to speak, but when it comes to compassion, empathy, and being there for Pansy, it's something that comes easy for me. There are many everyday tasks I had to take on as a result of this diagnosis. During the progression of the disease, Pansy had to give up her driving license, which meant that her getting around was left up to me right now doing all the driving. And I don't like driving, but I have to do it. You know, there are many everyday tasks that I had to take on as a result also. As the disease progressed, some of the normal everyday functions was put into my hands, such as the shopping, taking care of writing checks, and taking care of the bank accounts. I'm the type of person, some of that I did before, but whatever she was doing, I'm doing now as far as that goes. You know, with 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and being married young, we have 2 great grandchildren that are teenagers. And so remembering their birthdays and getting cards, this is left up to me, okay? And it's not that I take it away from Pansy, because we could go to the card shop and I'll say, okay, babe, go on. And you may hear me say babe for a while, because that's what I call her. I want her to go so that she feels independent. So I'll say, okay, we're going to get cards at such and such and such and such. So she does it. But, you know, there's times that I still have to kind of look over her shoulder just to see what we have. And as far as doctor's appointments, with her meds, we set them out. But at the same time, I have to overlook that too, because I don't want to take Monday and Tuesday the same day, which might happen, and it has happened. When it goes down to other things, such as her hair appointments, my daughter takes her to do that, but at the same time, I have to watch the calendar. And we have 2 calendars, but I lose track sometimes myself. And because of that, she's missed appointments. So that's me. I have to just really be more proactive, and that's what I try to be. You know, and even though we go to our daughters for dinner, and that's one reason why I think we moved out from where we were to Valencia, because our kids live there, and my son-in-law, he's a cook. He says, you guys move out here, Mom, you never have to cook again. So he said, okay, let's do it. But, you know, what I'm saying is that, so like at Christmas time or special holidays or whatever, Pansy wants to cook a cake. She's good at baking. But even then, I have to kind of look over her shoulder, make sure that everything is right. Maybe I'm being too proactive, but it's something that in the 5 years I learned, it makes it easier for her, and it makes it easier for me, so I do it. Listening to others' experiences in support groups helps me to realize I'm not alone as caregiver. And that it's more of a journey that I'm on with this disease. A disease that can be slowed down with medication, but it can't be cured. There is no cure, period. And what I was hearing today gave me a little insight that, that it's not at a standstill, that, you know, we have to get money and what have you for experiments and other things like that, but that was very encouraging of what I heard today so far, and I thank all of them. You know, most of us men do not know or how to know, or really how to experience or share our feelings of hopelessness, loneliness, and fatigue with others. It's something a man just doesn't do. And I find myself that I even need to be more open to let people know what's going on with me. You know, and there's just not a lot. I heard this morning there's not a lot available out there, and I think I just need to strive more to find out what is there. You know, and I might even have to start to look after daycare for the wife. But then even what I heard earlier from, who was it, from Dr. Bernard, and also from Dr. Young. There's no money out there. You know, you talk about being a caregiver, and you talk about daycare, and you talk about other things, and, you know, if you don't have long-term insurance of some sort, what the hell are you going to do? You know? And so, you know, we're able to do what we need to do, but it's really sad when I think about the people out there that may be living alone, that may not have a caregiver or someone that they have to pay every day or every week. I mean, it could get mighty expensive. So I've learned, you know, a little about that and talking about that today, but it's really a concern, and it's a concern that I have. For me, I find one of the most important things as caregiver is to have patience. Oh my gosh, patience, patience, patience. But at the same time, I have to be encouraging, but not pushy. You know, I have to encourage conversation, because as Pansy progresses with this disease, I may talk more, but she talks less. So I have to just really expect that and to be more of the initiator. And above all, I have to be a better listener, and that I'm trying to do. It goes a long way to listen to what she's trying to say. Not let it go over my head, but to truly listen. One should be conscious that maybe the person that you're being caregiver to may not feel like talking. And a few days ago, I experienced that. Pansy and I, we took off driving. It was a nice day, and spontaneously, she just, the day turned into something, whereas she had a mood swing, she had confusion, and it's just part of the disease. And I know how to handle it. I think I know how to handle it, but I don't. You know? You know, how many times have I heard her say, "You're not my husband," or, you know, "I don't live here anymore." You know, and it's those types of things that, you know, makes me really realize that I'm human. You know, recently I had the opportunity to experience Alzheimer's as a male caretaker. You know, this experience with, I don't know if you've heard of PK Belleville, yes. It's a virtual dementia tour, which was shown on the Lisa Gibbons America Now TV show. And what this tour did for me was a rude awakening. It gave me the opportunity to literally step into the shoes of someone who suffers from dementia. You know, if you're curious about it, Google it. P.K. Blivens, B-L-E-V-I-L-L-E, is the initiator of the VDT tour. Great experience. You know, I think some things one can do as caregiver is to constantly keep an eye on the person you are taking care of. Check on them. Let them know that you're there for them. As caregiver, I realize for the sake of my relationship with Pansy, I must be willing to accept change in our lives. You know, sometimes people say, take it a day at a time. No. Take it an hour at a time. No. I take it a minute at a time. And get help, you know, if you need it. Try to be proactive and learn more about the disease or illness that you can as a care receiver. It's that important.
Thank you.
I'm not through.
Okay, one more bit. I'm watching the clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last paragraph.
All right, there we go.
Last paragraph.
You got it, Mr. Greene.
But do what you need to do to take care of yourselves. You know, really get help. You know, have someone step in to relieve you. I have family around, so I do that. You know, I encourage to find events or care centers to take that person you are caring for to allow yourself some freedom and to get some relief and respite. We heard about that just today. And as this journey continues, my motto for myself is to, I've already said it, take one day at a time. And as I stated and started off earlier by saying, above all, have patience. And another thing I just was thinking last night, and I didn't even write it down. Above all, have faith. Thank you.
Thank you.